Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today I'm going to walk you through all three and the only three lounges that are available in the Guatemala Airport in Guatemala City. And there are three different ones. Two of them are available on Priority Pass. Another is, well, it's an American Express lounge, but it's not a Centurion lounge. So let me walk you through these. If you would, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll get into each one of them. The International Airport in Guatemala City has three distinct airport lounges. One is the Casadelron. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but that's the best way this Mississippi boy can pronounce it. The other is the Copa Lounge for Copa Airlines. And the third is the BAC Lounge. Now, BAC is a Central American bank that seems to have some sort of arrangement with American Express in some Latin American cities in order to give access to Platinum card holders. And of course, that would be true with Centurion card holders as well. Now, the first one I visited was the BAC American Express Lounge. Now, when I walked in, you go through security in Guatemala City. It's a pretty quick process. And then as soon as you get into the terminal, you'll turn right for the Amex Lounge and you'll turn left for the other two lounges. It's not a very big terminal, so it's not hard to get to any one of these lounges. In fact, I visited on my about an hour and a half I had before my flight. I visited all three of the lounges and took a little footage so that you could kind of see which was which and which one you might want to visit or spend some time in. Now, as soon as you turn right after security, it won't be a very long walk until you see right there in the center of the terminal, you see the BAC Bank American Express Lounge. Now, this lounge it's pretty good size. It's 2 stories, and you have to kind of walk to the end. When you first see it, you got to continue walking because the door, the entryway, is on the opposite side. So you go down to the end, you go in, and when you enter this lounge, they're going to, of course, ask for your boarding pass, which is common, but they're also going to ask for your Amex Platinum card. Now, I used my business Platinum card. I gave it to them, and very different than lounges in the U.S. that are typical American Express run lounges. These BAC lounges, they have to swipe your card, and sure enough, they told me, they said, well, we had a little bit of a language barrier there, but I got the idea that they were going to charge 1 cent on my American Express card. And sure enough, when I checked my online statement later, sure enough, they had only charged 1 cent. So I guess you could say this lounge isn't exactly free. It costs you 1 penny to get in. But that 1 penny is well worth it for any airline lounge in the world. So I thought it was a great benefit of being an Amex card holder. There are 2 levels to the lounge. Right as you turn left after you check in at the desk, there's a stairway upstairs. Now, upstairs, there's not very much. There's like a small little bar, and there are, I think a salad station where there's just a few little items, snack items, things of that nature, and some seating. But as you're downstairs, if you choose not to go up those stairs, then there's some seating all along, kind of in a long row, and the bathrooms are at the end of that long row, kind of on the side back behind the stairwell. But if you turn right immediately, and you'll see a big American Express logo there, then there's another little seating area, and there is a small food station there. And of course, their bar is kind of like serve your own type of circumstance. But then there'll be waitresses and waiters around, and they'll bring you a menu. So this lounge is you can order whatever you like off of the menu. And I will say the food was very good. I ordered a ravioli dish, and I got to say, it was one of the better pastas I've ever had in an airport lounge. So I would definitely recommend this if you're a holder of the American Express Platinum, the American Express Business Platinum, or the Centurion card. This is a pretty good option for you. And I don't know that I would say it's the best of the 3. It's certainly in the top 2. But it's a very good lounge. And it is the one that's closest to security at the Guatemala City Airport. Now, as you go back out into the terminal, and as you walk back towards security, you'll go past security, you'll keep walking, you'll pass a whole bunch of shops and vendors, and then on the left, there is another lounge that's kind of hard to see. You're going to notice a Zapata liquor store, and you can't miss it. I mean, it's right out there. When I walked by, there were several workers who were kind of almost out in the terminal walkway, I suppose trying to entice customers to come in and to shop. But the Casadelron Lounge is kind of back behind and upstairs from that liquor store. So what you'll do is you'll kind of weave through and back and around. And if you have any trouble, you can ask them, how do I get to the lounge? And they'll kind of point you in the right direction. And then when you go down the little hallway, you reach a desk. And at that desk, they're going to have a check-in process. So I just pulled out my priority pass. I think there are other ways to access it as well, but the easiest way is priority pass, and that's probably the most common means of access that most people will have. So I gave them my priority pass card, and they said, well, the lounge is at capacity. But what was really intriguing about this, and I haven't seen this in very many lounges, is right there on that same floor, because you have to go up the elevator to get to the actual lounge. But right there to the right of that check-in desk, there's a waiting area. And it probably had, I don't know, 30, 40 seats in that waiting area. It wasn't fancy. I think there was maybe some water and juice, not much in there. But it's just basically a waiting area for you're waiting for people to leave the lounge upstairs so that they have access. So they'll take down your name, and sure enough, they came in and they called a couple people to go on up to the lounge, and I didn't wait there more than 5 minutes. And then they came in, they called my name, and they said, you can proceed up to the lounge. So I went back past the desk again to the elevators and rode up to the Casadelron Lounge upstairs. Now, this lounge is one of those lounges overseas that doesn't really look like what we would consider a traditional airport lounge. It doesn't have a long food station where you can go through and just kind of have a buffet style meal. No, it's a sit-down restaurant with a sit-down menu. It has a bar, a full bar, and you'll go and there's really, really lots of seating in that lounge. So I sat down and I looked at their menu. It was an extremely extensive menu. Had lots of drink options, had lots of food options, and of course, with your access with Priority Pass, there's no charge for any of it. Now, when you go to order, I believe that there was a QR code you could order with your phone, but I just ordered by a waiter was walking by and I said, hey, can I order? And they took my order, and it took about, 10 minutes to get my food. There was lots and lots of options on there. I ordered the pork tacos, and they were delicious. They were outstanding. One of the better meals I've ever had in an airport lounge. Certainly better than most that you're going to get in U.S. lounges. Not quite to the level of some of the business and first class lounges overseas, but a very, very good restaurant quality meal. So this is, like I said, it's upstairs above that liquor store. It's easy to access. You might have to wait a few minutes, but like I said, mine wasn't maybe 5 minutes, maybe just a few minutes longer than that. But I didn't see anybody in there that had been waiting a very long time at all. Now, the next lounge and the last lounge in the Guatemala airport, and the one I visited right before I got on my flight and just kind of did a quick walkthrough, was the Copa Lounge. Now, for this one, you got to walk all the way to the end of the terminal. So you go back out of the Casadelron Lounge and you turn left. You don't go back towards security and the Amex Lounge. You turn left towards the majority of the gates. And you walk all the way to the end where you see some stairs. And right there on the left-hand side, you'll see the Copa Lounge entrance. Well, you go in there. They take also Priority Pass. There's probably other means of getting in. I think when I used to have the United Club card, I used to use that lounge some. Now, this lounge is certainly the least impressive of all of them in Guatemala City. It is very small. I've seen smaller, but not many that are smaller. It just is basically one big circle that goes around a wall with a bar on one side and a few little food items on the other. Now, when I went in, which seemed quite strange, the lady told me at the desk, they said, we don't really have any food options right now. And this was, midday, 2 o'clock, something like that, which seemed very, very odd that they didn't have any food. Now, you walk around, the bar was open, so that was accessible. and there was a bartender kind of manning that. So if you wanted a drink or soda or something like that, you could do so. And then if you walk around, like I said, to the back side of that, there's a little small food station that had just a few little snacks and maybe like a soda machine, things of that nature. So I would certainly say the Copa Lounge is the last one that I would use. And of the other two, I think the Casadelron had just slightly better food, but the BAC Amex Lounge had a very, very good atmosphere. So that's the 3 different lounges. And so I kind of did, usually I do some sort of lounge tour of different places that I visit. But I thought since there's 3 of them, I was able to kind of hit all of them. I would use this video both to tell you about all of them, show you some footage, but also kind of as a comparison video. So if I were you, first of all, probably I would go to the Casadelron Lounge, then the Amex Lounge, and then certainly far below the other 2. If it's the only option you have, go to the Copa Lounge. All right, well, that kind of wraps that up for Guatemala City and its lounge options. If you would, please consider my channel membership. It's only $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. I do special videos every week for my channel members. I also do most of my videos early release for them. So you can look at that at the join button, or if you want to hit the link below. Also, I have a higher tier, and it's called Spreadsheet Warriors. Now, it has everything offered to RM insiders, but it also gives access at least once a month, sometimes more, to a live Zoom call with me and with other Spreadsheet Warriors. And that's where you can bounce questions off one another. We can learn high-level strategies from each other. It's just really a good time, so you can check that out as well. Thank you for being here today. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.